Hi, I'm Inger with Portland Makers, and today I'm here at Artistic Portland with Karin Kaufman of Soap Labs Northwest.
Hi.
So Karin, can you tell us just a little bit about your medium and your craft? You make these really delicious smelling soaps.
Thank you.
And they're scrumptious, and I can't wait to try one. But so can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, I had the idea to build my own soap, and then I just started to produce a cold process because it has less chemicals in it, and I really crave that clean and that a bottle of shampoo is really that 8% water, and it ends up in the landfill. And this is what I wanna try to avoid. So this is why I started having shampoo bars, which you use just regularly foam up in your hair, and then.
Which is really great. I really like that you're about the zero waste and also about the environment.
Yes.
And I also appreciate that your product is palm free, because that is really detrimental to the environment. So tell us a little bit about why palm free.
I love orangutans, and it's also my favorite word in English, orangutans.
I love it.
And you know, really for this wee little oil we get out of a palm tree, we don't have to destroy the environment. There is other oils out there which are really good for your skin as well, like shea butter or almond oil, or
Which I love.
oh my gosh, I love all the oils.
Me too, and it's so good for your skin.
Yes, very comforting.
I love it. Well, so what are your favorites?
My favorite is the gummy bear massacre.
Oh, wow, look at that. That's stunning.
That's the blood of the gummy bears? No, it is
Yeah,
not.
you like them.
No.
I like that. That's really pretty.
It has all glittering gummy bears on top, so it's all soap, but then they're cut in different parts of their bodies. That's why it's a massacre.
And it kind of like bled through and kind of like shows itself in the bar of the soap. That's really pretty.
Love the smell of it.
Yeah. Do you have another favorite that you like?
Oh, I love all of them. They're like my babies.
I'm like, how do you choose,
Like my
right?
babies. I'm when I have my childish day, I'm going for the rubber ducky.
That's great. And do you actually create that?
I
Cast
do,
it and
yes.
actually put it on
Yes,
top?
I do. I do. I have a mold.
Great.
The same for my dessert-looking soap. We made molds out of real cherries, so we can have the topping on the
So original and
icing.
super, super cute.
Thank you.
I love them. I love
Thank
the
you.
originality. And I like the names too.
Hi, I'm Lynsley Rollins with Portland Makers at Artistic Portland with metalsmith Beth Jones, who makes jewelry. Her company's called Delicate Filaments. And what I am seeing is these are just beautiful. How long does it take you to do something like that earring with the tiny little beads of metal? I'm seeing silver on top of gold.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a newer design, and it does take some time. What I do is I cut little tiny sections of silver wire, and then I take a torch and ball up one end, and then I put it through the chain. So there are several of them, and I put them all through the chain, and then I ball up the other end.
Oh, I get it. So you insert the wire through the link and then melt it a bit.
Right. And the trick is not to melt the chain.
The entire chain. And is that lapis lazuli on the back ones?
It is.
Very nice. And what is this raspberry colored stone? I don't recognize it.
That's a ruby.
Oh
Those
my
are rubies.
gosh.
And the stones up above
It's a huge
are,
ruby.
yeah.
And a
with
little
labradorite.
milky.
Right.
It has a milky tone. I'm used
So
to them
it's-
being a little clearer. That's
yeah,
gorgeous.
This is more of almost a rough natural ruby, and it has been cut.
Right, it is faceted, but in a
Yes.
kind of a simple, gorgeous way.
Yeah,
I
thank
love
you.
that.
Thank you.
How did you learn to be a metalsmith? Because I'll just tell you, I always thought that'd be a marvelous thing to do, but I have no idea how to do that. Seriously, I mean, how do you go to, metal working
I
school?
did for a while. So this is actually kind of my second occupation. I used to be in medicine. I used to work in cardiac rehab. But before I started with jewelry, I tied flies as my hobby. And then
Fishing flies.
Fishing flies.
So you were a fisherwoman?
Yes, and I like doing tiny little delicate things. But then I had a baby, and I put all of that aside, and I quit my work just to raise her. I was lucky I was able to do that.
Right.
And then once she got into high school, I thought I need to do something again. And instead of tying flies, I got into the wire work,
Right.
like the carnelian, that sort of thing.
It's beautiful.
And thank you. And then I decided I need to learn more, and so I went to a studio in Camas where he was teaching the foundations of metalsmithing. And so for about a year and a half, I went there every week and spent the day there and learned lots of things. And then from there, I've just pretty much continued on my own.
Wonderful. Well, if you ever want a student, you just call me up.
And I'm here today with Ben Gilbert of Crayon and Cardboard. And Ben, can you tell us a little bit about your medium and how you started?
I had to do something to break out of a rut, so I chose the simplest thing I could think of.
And so how long have you been using Crayon and Cardboard as kind of your art?
I guess 6 years.
6 years, yeah. And so you needed to draw some inspiration. You were saying you needed something to get out of the rut you were in. And so why cardboard and why crayon?
Because,
I mean, you could use paint. There's lots of things you could have used. Why
Crayons
those
were 30 cents a box
Yeah.
at Fred Meyer at one point.
Yeah.
And the cardboard's free.
Right, and the cardboard is free, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what would you like people to know about your art and what you've created? You have a lot of really unique pieces. Would you talk to us about a couple of them?
Sure, yeah.
Particular?
All right.
So I like this one in particular.
It's still from a Russian movie, Rusalka, or Mermaid.
And so that's the
There's somebody in a cell phone costume.
cell phone costume, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. And is she kind of musing over them and then having
Yeah,
a
I think this
conversation?
is part of a dream. Yeah, the conversation. Yeah.
That's awesome. And what other ones are your favorites hanging? Do you have a couple that you want to point out for folks?
Favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have some favorites.
Well, there's Crowley.
Oh, nice.
What?
You want me to draw it so you don't need to?
It's from the Cliff Bar display.
Nice.
Sketch it and then paint it.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
hard.
Okay. You want me to help you?
Yes.
Pigeon is classical.
The pigeon is classical. So tell me a little bit about I see like animals, I see some humans. So where do you draw your inspiration from? I mean, where do you get your inspiration? Walking around Portland, I know there's a lot of interesting characters.
Just the characters and Google searches and Wikipedia.
And Wikipedia and Google searches.
Yeah.
So you pull some ideas from there, and then you kind of just like look stuff up and kind of draw inspiration and put it
Yeah.
down. And so, how long does it take you to complete probably like one of your paintings? How long does it take?
If few hours.
A few hours
Yeah.
mostly, yeah. And then tell me about like the range, the price range of them. So I see some smaller ones, some bigger ones, and then some framed
They're pretty
ones
much $40.
across the board.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so are you working on any new pieces that folks should look out for? Anything coming down the pipeline?
Well, if they have an idea, I can make it. So there's no real specific ones that's in the pipeline.
I love
Just
that.
Yeah, I can bang it out.
So you
whatever.
you do custom pieces too?
Oh
so
yeah, I can
people
do custom pieces.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. So people draw some inspiration. They can bring you something, and you can put it on. You can put it on cardboard and put it on for them. That's really awesome.
And I've got Dolores Kiefler here, who is a fused glass artist. And I am noticing this dragonfly. How do you do that? You've got what looks like thicker stones and then iridescent stuff.
It's all glass. The whole piece is glass. So there's 2 layers of glass, and then there's some dichroic glass, which gives you the shiny effect. And this is chips of frit that are thicker pieces of glass put on it, and then not fired quite as long, so it doesn't melt into the glass.
So I have heard that glass, unlike ceramic, is much more prone to break when it's heating or cooling, and then it's a lot more temperamental. Is that true in your experience?
It's not
Or
true
is
in
that-
my experience, actually.
Or is that blown glass? That does that?
Yeah, probably. I have done ceramics, and I haven't had a huge problem with breakage. If you're
Because I was
conservative
wondering
in
how
the
you
firing up and the firing down, giving it time to cool off slowly, it
long
typically
does it
doesn't
take?
break. Well, it depends how many layers, how thick it is, how high you take the temperature. You know, I usually think it's a day for firing between slowly moving it up and slowly moving
Okay,
it
so
down.
several hours.
Oh yeah, for sure,
That's
absolutely.
all right. I had read something from some artists who were ceramicists trying to do glass, and I just recall a couple of them saying that this was just much more kind of demanding. You know, if you didn't respect its needs to come up slowly.
Well,
go down
that's
slowly,
probably,
then
that
it
may be
would
true.
fracture.
That may
Yeah,
be true.
they,
Yeah.
they were
I
like,
just
"Oh,"
respect
they
it.
said, I have to pay attention. They didn't like the whole concentration.
Yeah, well, what I like over ceramics is that I get more instant results in the sense that you tend to slowly, you make a lot of pots and then you have to fill a whole kiln load. And my kiln is 22 by 22, so I'll fire 3 or 4 pieces in there and they're done tomorrow, you know.
So what kind of kiln do you use? Is it a ceramic kiln or is it a glass
It's a glass kiln.
So it's a separate
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it has a temperature controller on it that gives you really the ability to set those exacting kind of temperatures.
And about what temperature does it glass melt at?
You know, a full fuse is like 1,500 degrees, but partial fuses where you're not really wanting it to go totally flat, those pieces are lower, you know, slumping. Like, so in this case,
Now,
you're making the piece
I'm
flat.
loving this iridescent stuff.
Yeah, so that's
dichroic.
dichroic. Yeah, you're making this piece flat, cut circle, double thick of glass flat. So that's one fire, and then you're slumping it into a mold to create the shape.
So I like your earrings as well.
Yeah, and I tend to do everything with sterling silver or gold filled so that it's hyperallergenic, so people don't have trouble with it, you know, irritating their ears with my jewelry, and my rings are silver coated also.
And is this glass on a metal base?
That's right.
Okay.
It's glass on a
So
silver
it
coated
lasts.
metal.
Good.
Sterling silver.
That's fantastic. And you have little cheese
Those are cheese
boards.
plates, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. And if somebody wanted a ring, about what do they run?
These are 25.
Really? Oh, that's a steal.
Thank you.
I get 2.
Go
two.
for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Well,
you
I
very
try
much.
to do a range of artistic pieces, functional pieces that you can use in your home, because I believe in having art in your home that you
Me
use,
too.
like for a
Yeah.
pasta platter or cheese plate,
I'm right there
and
with
then
you on that.
jewelry to adorn the beauty we all have, right?
So this tray down at the bottom,
Yes.
this kind of clear,
Right.
kind of mauve
Plum
one.
colored,
What
yeah.
would something like that run?
What is this? I don't remember actually what price I have on that. So that is $59.
Yeah. Well, that's a good deal.
Adriana Gasperi with Gatos Ilimitados at Artistic Portland. So thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
super excited to have you here. So can you tell us a little bit about your medium and your craft and what it is you make?
Sure. I'm a graphic designer, and I retired because I was, graphic designer has so many things to do. It's like, I just got tired of it, and so. My husband, my family was like, why don't you paint? Because, I had those illustration skills and stuff.
Yeah.
So I started painting, but still, my medium is like acrylic on canvas, on wood, on different medias. But I also do digital art.
You do?
And yes, I use the iPad Pro, and I create like these illustrations, and then I have them printed at the. It's like they call a gicle, which it's like a high quality print on canvas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like I create all those crazy things, and these are like my originals.
Yeah.
And I like to use like Mexican and Indian motifs. And
Is that your
and,
background?
No, I'm
Drawings
from
of-
Venezuela.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm from
okay.
South America, but still we share all those colors and had
Very
these
vibrant.
contrasts. Yes. So for some reason, I just incorporated like this is a traditional Katrina because it has like all the when they portray the Katrinas, they like saw the faces and they have like all these little things, and so this is like a traditional Katrina. And these are like my new things because I never painted on wood before, so wood blocks.
That's
and,
great. Good for offices.
Yeah, and
Nice little
then I
craft.
have my prints, and this is like the newest one, Frida Gato.
I love it.
It's a Frida, yeah. And I
lovely.
created that. I mean, this is the one of the original necklaces that she used, because whenever I paint a character transformed in a cat, I try to get as much research as I can. Like I painted Napoleon and I painted Antoinette, so I try to see the crowns and the all those things that they used. So this is like one of her necklaces, and I just decorate her fingers, and it's just very and like the earrings is the same thing. So yeah, I mean,
Great.
yeah.
I love it.
Oh, I love it too.
Thank you so
I was like so. I wasn't like believing that I did this.
Well, it's nice that you landed at a great place like Artistic Portland.
Please,
and
this
you
is
totally
just great.
This is a great fit.
This is a great community. Yes.
Amy Brooks, a fabric artist at Artistic Portland. So Amy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Could you tell us a little bit about your medium and your craft?
Yes, this is felted items, and a lot of people don't know, they know about the felt that's industrial. Anyway, this is what felt comes from. It's wool, and this is called roving.
Roving.
Roving. Well, this one is called wool roving, and it comes from sheep or llamas or alpacas. And they have a natural fiber that has little scales that when they're heated or in hot water, they open up, and then they all tangle together, and then you smash them together by rubbing or rolling, and it becomes one. So this would be a regular felt item.
It starts like this.
It starts like this.
Yeah.
You lay it out,
Yeah.
crisscross, and then this is called nuno felting.
Nuno felting. Oh wow, look at that.
Nuno meaning cloth in Japanese.
Yeah.
And you put the wool through the fiber, usually the fiber of the cloth is going to be natural.
Yeah.
It's going to be cotton or silk. These pieces right here happen to be from a skirt
That you kind of
that I,
incorporated.
that I cut out. No sewing.
No sewing.
No sewing. So I cut them out. I lay out strips of this, and this on this side is all wool, just laid out and rubbed,
And it seals
rolled,
it in.
and it seals it, and it
seals-
shrinks. So
it shrinks
at
it.
some point, you take it after you go like this, and all the little fibers tingle together, and then you throw it and throw it, or rub it really, really hard, and it shrinks about half. And that's what, and then it never goes back to the original way.
And you can wash it.
And you can wash it just like you would a wool sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Take
want to,
care
you
with
know, it's
washing
pretty
it.
well shrunk anyway, but there are so many different ways of felting.
Yeah.
Really
So tell me about this piece.
Alright,
Ooh,
so
this is fun.
It is.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is one, I laid out long strips and crisscross, and then it's on like bubble wrap, and I wet it down, and over it I put a piece of netting that's nylon that won't stick to it, squirt it with hot soapy water, and rub, or some people what they do is they roll it up at this point, and you roll and you roll, you can roll something like 500 times, and then when that's done, then you toss it down to shrink it, or you rub it really, really, really hard,
And then it shrinks up.
and this is shrunk, and it's so soft. This
Yeah,
is
it's like
mostly merino
amazing.
wool.
I'm like, I want a blanket.
Yeah.
It's so nice. So tell me about your. Do you have any favorite pieces you might want to share?
Well, this is mine.
You're wearing one.
So I'm wearing one.
Yeah.
I love to do these. These are the curls of the sheep.
Oh wow, so cute.
So on the other side, I will take
little clasp.
wool and I will lay this out, and then before I felt it, I will lay all this out, and then do the same process of rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing.
Wow, this is so great. Well, you have an awesome craft. I love it.
Oh, it's
Speaks
great.
to your ingenuity.
Color, love color.
Yeah, and your creativity to be able to find something and be able to make it look so amazing from something that starts out so simple. I love it.
I would advise anybody to get online and go to just Google felting. There is a myriad of YouTube, that you can see for free and how to do it.
So other people can draw their inspiration
Yes.
from you. Alicia Hill of World Wanderlust Photography. So can you tell us a little bit about your medium and your story here at Artistic Portland?
So I've always been somewhat artistic, and I've always loved photography. Starting back in high school, I was using a film camera, and at the time I didn't have much confidence. I didn't have any money to develop, and it wasn't until after college when I really began to travel the world that I decided to get a digital SLR. And 15 years later, I realized I had all these images from all over the world, and I sat down and said, I really need to start printing these and taking a look at all these places I've been and sharing them with the world.
So on your business card, it says that you are an adventurer. So tell us a little bit about where you've been, and tell us a little bit about some of your prints and your photography.
So, for instance, Botswana over here, these elephants and this lion. This lion was in the Central Kalahari Desert, and we were camping on top of a truck for weeks. Without any air conditioning, no amenities. We had groceries from the grocery store in South Africa we brought with us. We provided our own water. We were literally by ourselves.
Amazing.
Like miles and miles and miles from any civilization. And pretty much roughing it.
Yeah.
We heard lions roaring outside of our campsite. We had elephants walking through our campsite.
Wow.
It was pretty insane.
That's awesome. And tell me about this one. I'm intrigued by just
So,
the tree and surrounded by all that water.
Yeah, this is a popular photography spot in New Zealand, actually. This is called the Wanaka tree in Lake Wanaka, and everybody goes there to do sunset photography. Well, I was there in autumn when the colors were golden, and I went there, took a few shots. I was gonna practice for my sunset, and I just wasn't impressed with my sunset photos with the pink sky and the yellow tree. I liked it during the day instead, although that's not the typical shot you see of it. So
It's stunning. And I'm with Helena Hugart, who knits lovely things, including, unexpectedly, cards. Like you've got a little birthday card with a little toothpick knitting needle. That's the cutest thing. See, I've never seen that before.
It's very unusual.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
And you make these gorgeous things here as well. This looks like it has been cut to fit a torso, but it's a triangular shawl. Do you want to show that?
Yes, but you can just open this up. It's a shawl, or you can. It has a triangular.
Chevron shaped.
Right, chevron shape has a kind of a triangle into it, and then you can wear it as a shawl, or you can drape it around. Here, I can just show like this.
See, now that's
Just
a
drape
lovely
like that.
little snug thing for
Yeah,
a
and then you
rainy
can
winter.
just close it off too if you'd like to prefer
That's
to
charming.
do this.
And I like the idea of what looks like a hat pin, a
Yes.
shawl pin. That's lovely. So how long have you
Thank
been knitting?
I've
Since
been
you
knit-
were a child or
Yes.
just lately?
No, actually, since I was a child, my mother was an avid knitter and did incredible work. And then she taught me before I went to school. And at that time in the 60s, they were teaching knitting in school in Austria. So I was already.
Austria. I was going to ask where you were from.
Yes, I was born in Austria and raised in Austria. And so when I came here and I stopped working as an early childhood educator, I decided to pick up my knitting and make some extra little income with that work.
Lovely.
So.
And I see that you have thoughtfully dressed a post
Yes.
in all your knitting.
No, actually, the idea came because we didn't want to have the post being chipped as people walk around, and it would add some color to the.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah,
That was a
like-
fun thing.
So I used up a lot of extra acrylic yarns and things to
Great.
dress it up.
So, let's see, what else do you have here?
Those are merino
Little
mitts.
gauntlets.
Yes, the little half knits that you
Merino.
can wear. Merino wool.
Nice.
Yeah. So I really like wool and quality yarns, so they won't ball up or.
Very pretty.
Thank you.
And you have hats. I like the shape of this one. It's sort of
Yeah, it kind of has a little
almost
like a brim.
1920s and yet modern.
Yeah,
It has
right.
just a little
Flair to it.
cloche to it. Well, that is lovely. Thank you very much for showing me. And you said that your
Thank you.
mother-in-law made this rather fabulous
Yes.
tunic that you got.
Yes. And I
So
have
your
a pattern.
whole family sews and knits.
and knits and yeah.
Very lovely. Well,
Yeah.
it's nice to meet you.
Nice
Thanks
meeting
for your
you
time.
too. Thank you.